Hi, I'm Tom at Just One Pack, and this is AC on the Short Alpha Clash podcast, where I'll talk all things Alpha Clash on my way to work. So, today I want to talk about spoilers. We are in the beginning of spoiler season for Genesis Return, the next set, and I've been given, I think I've mentioned this last time, otherwise I'd tell you now, I've been given a card to spoil this time around. I'm quite excited about that. So, if you do not listen to this podcast at the time of release, there will also be a short spoiler video on the YouTube channel, and I even showed an Instagram for Just One Pack, both on YouTube and on Instagram. Go check them out. Have a chuckle of the very lousy 2D animation. I had a blast making it. It was fun. Learning new skills, and I've got some way to go. But have a chuckle and enjoy the video anyway. Now there will be the new card will be available to see there in a readable format, I hope. Anywho, that is. Once you've done with this podcast, go look at that. And if you have, I'm glad you joined this. So I want to set the scene for the new card and why I think it is relevant. I want to do that before I set up the card. If you haven't seen the spoilers yet, try to listen along and go see if you can spot what card it is and see how close you get during this podcast. Anyway, so for setting the scene, I want to talk about what a new set has to support. So, or the cards in a new set that makes up a new set. So, from my point of view, any new set for TCG, and this is true for all TCGs, but and therefore for Alpha Clash as well, it has to do three things. So it has to support. Something new, something interesting. There has to be a new strategy, maybe a new win condition, but at least a new strategy, a new mechanic to play around with, or a new way to think about a mechanic. For Genesis Return, that is already been revealed to some extent when they spoil all of the contenders at once. We talked about that last week. A lot of interesting stuff coming out there, but they sort of showed us the new mechanics and the new ideas going forward. So, that said, good. They have the mechanics with the badges for Moxie and the playing from resource zone for Genesis, and I blank on Kilimanjaro's effect on playing with the Oblivion. All these things are the new things that need to be supported. Now, they also need to support for players that want to build on the decks they already build. And that, for Alpha Clash, comes in two tempos. Excuse me. That for Alpha Clash comes in two tempos. One is the previous set, so the historic formats. The historic contenders and strategies. So the reason I distinguish between current and historic here is because of the setup Alpha Clash does. Until now, and as far as I understand, that will continue at least 2025 too. There will be two sets a year, and then a draft box. So when you hit the draft box, and that's the third thing, when you hit the draft box, you want strategies for that. But everyone who's not playing contenders within those two sets won't have interest, or at least not that much interest, in buying the draft box as a concept. They want support for the cards and strategies that they're working on. That is historic setup. If you want for the current support, you want something that also goes into the draft box, or at least supports the contenders' strategies that go into the draft box. So what I mean by that is when you support a historic setup, very much like we did in Unrivaled. Oh, I hope I remember this correctly. So in Unrivaled we got Suit Up, and Suit Up was a black Moxie card. I know we got a Moxie now, but at the time that card was not to support anything within this draft set or this sealed set, the block if you like. It is to support a historic setup, to support from the last block, making it a bit more interesting to sort of keep on going, doing in this case Moxie, Black Moxie, keeping that strategy interesting and supporting that. There's also a way to keep it balanced. So if something is wrong or you need to reprint, or you can put it in the next set for that sort of support. That's the second thing. So you need to have this historic thing. Usually you want to include card that goes well in sealed, meaning the current support, right? So the current strategy support, because you want to have the ability to do that in sealed. But the way Alpha Clash.sealed means that you will have to include things, well, you can spread it out over the two sets, but you have to have enough in a set to make new strategies available, but also the new mechanics, reason number one, of object number one, but you also want to be able to build on some support for the previous set, so that when you get to the draft or the sealed products like Year of the Dragon, there will be enough in it to support a sealed format. Now, that is the three reasons: support for new mechanics to play with in the set, new mechanics to play with, support for older strategies if needed, and reprints and stuff like that, and a support for a sealed format. Now, the last one is for this card. So, if you were playing Krung, he has an ability that says whenever a discarded clash card enters the clash ground from somewhere else or anywhere else than your hand, that card gets that card enters. Sorry, and then you draw a card. That's the way. So whenever you play a discard a clash card from anywhere other than your hand, you get to draw a card. So you want to lean into that. You need mechanics to do that, and the best ability to do that, there might be some triggery with death cards or something, I'm not quite certain, but the best way to do that is with Ambush, and that came out in the same set. So with Lord Krung in Unrivaled, the Ambush mechanic was sort of the new thing, the new mechanic that should tease us to be buying Unrivaled if it wasn't just cool cards anyway. It was a new mechanic we could play around with. Now the thing with Ambush is, in what we have today are 4 clash cards with Ambush. So if you don't know Ambush, that is a mechanic where you can play your card, you can set your clash card as a trap, and then it has an effect that means you can play it from your accessory zone into flip it like a trap, but now it becomes a clash card where you can use for all the things you use clash cards for. Excellent strategy. I love it. It broadens this horizon about how you use your accessory zone for anything else than traps, so you sort of have to guess now. I love that. The thing is, there are only 4 cards with Ambush today, and that is brilliant for anyone who cracks enough boxes you will have play sets of all of them. No issues. But if you are a casual player, like most who I play with, will buy a starter deck, maybe a box, maybe two, and that's it. And then their feeling is that they used a bloody fortune on it, which arguably we are. But we want these cards. You want to play with them, and you want to be able to brew with them. So some of us are opening quite a bit more. But they may be open 1 or 2 boxes. If you only open 1 or 2 boxes, you don't get play sets of rares. It just does not work like that. Due to the rarity, which is fine, that's sort of the way we do things. But if you are a casual player, and that was the point from the first part, if you are running a sealed format, you cannot lean into the strategy if you don't get the cards. So in order this is my take, it's not something Rising Empires have told me that this is a reason, but in my view, in order for this ambush and Krung to be a viable way to play in a sealed format or in a very casual, low-budget format where you don't have access to rares, you have to have enough uncommon and common cards to support that. And at the moment, out of the 4 ambush cards we have, 2 of them are rare, and only 1 is common. So you won't have enough to lean into that strategy, especially if you're either casual or hopefully coming later into a sealed format. Then you simply do not have that. You don't have that support. So you need that support in order to lean into a strategy. And I didn't choose the strategy with Krung by chance, obviously. So now we get to the meat of the matter. The card I've got to spoil for you is a common card. It's a common card with ambush. It's a clash card. And let me just read that for you as it is. So the card's name is Morak the Gruesome Brood, or Gruesome Brood. He's of course a discarded. His initial cost, his common cost, I don't know. His cost is 3, but with a single black. And then he comes in as a 2/1. But 2 things: he has ambush, which means he has a counter of some sort, and we of course are going to have some trickery since he has ambush. He's also going to be dependent on the portal, which I feel, I haven't tested this, but the portal is quite important to a discarded strategy, at least for what I've built so far. So here it goes. Morak Gruesome Brood, 3 cost. Get a 2/1 in. Not impressive, but here's the catch. He has ambush, of course, and counter attack. If the portal is open, you can get him from your accessory zone and to your and put him into play for only a single black resource. So a single black resource, you get a 2/1, but hold up, it gets better. For a single black resource means that the portal is open. And he has a trigger enter. If the portal is open, he gets an additional +0/+1. So for a single black resource, this is early game, if you manage to open the portal, you get a 2/2 in as a reaction to someone. Oh, did I say counter play? Sorry, counter attack. You get a 2/2 in to block. I know it's a 2/2 only. Oh, no. It is a 2/2 only until the end of turn, but you get a 2/2 in to block whatever they were attacking with, even if they thought they were attacking into a blank space. And because he only costs 1 and it costs nothing to set him, you can sort of utilize that to maybe spring out of nowhere and block someone and kill their card. Their clash card, when they thought they could just add a little bit of damage to you, because nothing that only costs 1 has that power enough to overcome a 2/2. However, this one does. So, very cool car. And that really also concludes all I had to say about today. Talk about today. But now go look at the Instagram photo. Go look at the or video actually. Go look at the YouTube video and have a chuckle. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.